Rock 100.5 KATT. My name is Cameron Buchholtz, and I am here with Mark Tremonti. What's going on, man?
What's happening, man? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Just looking forward to the big Alter Bridge show tomorrow night at the Criterion. And it's the Pawns and Kings tour with Mammoth WVH. And just how's the tour been so far?
Doing great, man. We've been at it with Mammoth since, it's our third tour now. So it's just been great. Absolutely. Can't complain about a thing. Love it.
Nice. And it must feel good to get out there with this Pawns and Kings record, given that the last record sort of, something happens and that album cycle didn't go as planned. So it must be sort of nice to be out there promoting this one kind of properly.
Yeah, that happened to me twice. We did the Walk the Sky record and toured maybe 6 months off it before we had to stop. And then I put out the Marching in Time record on my solo act, and the beginning of that tour got destroyed. So this is the first record that's been solid so far that we can tour and do the proper support of it.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, I think the last time you were at Oklahoma you did the Rocklahoma. That was sort of the pandemic Rocklahoma, I guess, the end of 2021 or whatever it was. But so what was that like, kind of getting back out early in the goings of that versus now?
Back then everything was very strict still. Everybody was still wearing masks in and out of venues, and a lot of people wearing masks at the shows. And you were worried that, if you lost a handful of shows in a tour, everybody'd be going home. So we were just, really worried that the tours were going to be able to be solid and going forward. So now we're just, we're happy that everything's smooth sailing.
Nice, indeed. And you talk about doing 3 tours with Wolfgang, but he's kind of been in your orbit even before Mammoth, right? I mean, you guys share a producer in Elvis, and it sort of seems like he's kind of been in that little circle of you guys for a while.
Well, he was a part of my band, the Tremonti band. He recorded on 2 records that we did. We've been friends for, probably, I don't know how many years it's been now. It could be 10 years now.
Mm-hmm. How did he kind of first get in your orbit? Because he kind of comes from royalty. So,
yeah, I think initially he was the first time I met him. I was opening up for his dad's band, a little band called Van Halen, and he was backstage, little kid, like probably 7 years old, holding his mom's hand and being backstage. That was the first time I saw him. But years later, he was a fan of Alter Bridge, and I think he just said, "Hey, we're doing sound check down the street if you want to check it out." And then he came to our show after, so we got to go to the Van Halen sound check. And then after that, one of the coolest things I ever got to do was go see the Van Halen practice. He invited me over to 150 Studios, and I got to go in and check out the new record before it came out.
Gotcha. So
then he joined my solo band, and we did a couple records together.
Awesome, man. So it's just and there's a couple people in his band that are in Slash's band, right? So it's just, or at least one.
Yeah.
So
Frank's in Slash's band. Yep.
So it's just a full Alter Bridge family kind of tour.
Yeah, and his drummer Garrett played on those. Played in my band as well.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So even more. It's just you know everybody.
I know everybody. Yeah.
But now
we all know one another. Yep.
The Pawns and Kings record, I was kind of looking through your discography, and it kind of hit me that you've released 16 records, 17 if you count the Sinatra one, in like a little over 25 years. I don't know that anyone else out there can kind of claim that sort of productivity, man.
Well, actually, Miles has the same amount. I think we both have 17 records apiece. Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, so then it's a battle.
It's a battle.
Do you guys sleep? Like, how does that work, man? Like, what do you attribute that to?
I think it's just being productive all the time. I enjoy being productive. If I've got a day off, I want to get some writing done. I want to go to bed that night going, wow, I got all this accomplished. I don't want to just sit around watching TV. That's just not what I do.
Gotcha. But now, are you still standing up and playing pinball in your time off? Is that still a thing?
Yeah, as much as I can. Yeah. When we go to Houston, there's a pinball club that invited us out there, so I'm going to go play some pinball in Houston.
Nice. And what does your kind of personal collection look like these days?
I always have 12 machines on rotation, so when a new machine comes out that I really got to sacrifice one of the old machines. So I'm selling an Elvira right now. If anybody wants it, it's on Pinside.
Okay.
uh, so that's the little pinball universe. So I'm selling Elvira, and I'm picking up the Godfather machines coming out from Jersey Jack, and I was a part of that machine. I got to do music for it.
Oh, cool.
And there's an upcoming Stern machine, a Foo Fighters machine that looks amazing that I'm going to be getting. Mm-hmm. I also did music for the next Stern machine that's coming out, but it's still a top secret title, so that's coming out soon.
When's the Alter Bridge machine coming out? Like, that's
as soon as we're a big enough band to to have a pinball machine company want to build one of our machines.
I mean, surely you could just pull some strings and at least get a limited run or something, right? I don't know if that's those things are way too complicated for that sort of thing, I guess.
Those machines cost millions upon millions of dollars just for the R&D. So it's we'd have to be way bigger.
Well, maybe this record's going to do it.
You know what? Fingers crossed.
But now it really looks like, we talked about this kind of being the first full tour of full support of an album in a while, but it looks like you're really dedicating 2023 to Alter Bridge. I mean, just looking ahead, I can't recall ever seeing this many Alter Bridge tour dates kind of all at once in a long time.
Yeah, we've been held up, not being able to do it. So we're going to take full advantage of it. We've got our year planned out now until, I think I've planned it out all the way through December, where I'll be ending the year with some Sinatra shows, hopefully.
Okay.
So I'll be juggling Alter Bridge touring, Tremonti writing, and Sinatra shows till the end of the year.
Gotcha. And now I mentioned the Sinatra shows, and then so it's you did a Sinatra covers album that came out last year, and you actually played with some of the people in Sinatra's band, right?
Yeah, we've done 6 shows now, and the guys recorded. I think 15 of the guys that recorded on the record toured with Sinatra, and 5 of them travel with me when we do the shows. That's the same thing that Sinatra would do. He'd travel around the world, and he'd have his core group of guys, and he'd hire local guys. So when we travel, we try to get the local guys that he used as well.
Awesome. And what are those shows like? I mean, what kind of venues are you in? Are you in like the like kind of theaters? Like what?
Yeah,
that genre might you think? Yeah.
We did. The last thing we did was the Ziegfeld Ballroom in New York, and then before that, we did the Steinmetz Music Hall in Orlando. So these are really big, nice theaters.
And who's coming out? Is it a lot of Alter Bridge fans, or is it a lot of Sinatra fans? I mean, how does that kind of work?
Well, the Steinmetz Music Hall show was the first time we did a show where it seemed like it was a lot of. They had a great mailing list, so when they mailed out that this was coming through there, we got a lot of old school big band fans that came out. So I think it was about maybe a 60-40 split between just rock fans, and then 40% were the people that are like, hey, I want to go see Frank Sinatra's band play, which was great, because I want people who are familiar with that music coming out to see the show.
Sure, yeah, and are you getting like Alter Bridge fans say like, oh, I've never listened to Sinatra, but this is awesome, and maybe some Sinatra fans that are like, oh, I would have never listened to a band like Alter Bridge, but this is awesome?
I get the more of the Alter Bridge fans who would never listen to Sinatra saying they like it. Not a lot of not the big band guys saying I love the hard rock stuff now. But you know what, though, as I've been working with the guys, I get compliments from them about Alter Bridge. Like they'll say things like, "Oh, the chord choices you guys use are pretty interesting. I like that. Incorporate that, or whatever it is." So they, they're very intelligent musicians that can see every bit of the what you put into your music, and they can take it and adapt it. Because right now I'm doing another record with the guys that I'm recording in April. It's kind of another top secret kind of record, but as I'm arranging with them, they're more and more familiar with what I do in the rock world.
Nice. Well, that's awesome. How did you first get connected with like those guys? Because that's, they don't just play with anyone. I wouldn't think. Yeah,
no. So when I told my manager I wanted to do, so I was obsessed with singing like Frank Sinatra for about 4 years, and I didn't know what I was going to do with it. And then my daughter was diagnosed with Down syndrome before she was born, and I told my manager I want to record a record and raise money and awareness for Down syndrome. It's kind of that's my new purpose. And I said, let's just call some local musicians and put a record together. He's like, why call local musicians? He's like, my guitar teacher growing up was Dan McIntyre, who toured with Frank Sinatra. So he set up a lunch meeting with Dan McIntyre and Mike Smith, who was Frank Sinatra's band leader. And they sat down and they were like, well, can your boy sing? And my manager had never heard me sing Frank Sinatra. And he's like, of course he can.
Mm-hmm.
So we set up a session where we did 2 songs. We did Luck Be a Lady and That's Life. And once we did that, the band loved it. And we recorded 14 tracks.
Awesome. And I guess more to come. So that's awesome to hear, man. Before I let you go, I feel like I have to do the obligatory and ask about, Creed. I obviously don't know anything, but at this point, the way it feels is it's maybe more of a win more so than it's an if. Is that kind of your feeling as well?
It's just a matter of timing for everybody. It's everybody's juggling so many projects. We would just have to find a window where it made sense.
Gotcha. I've heard some sort of rumor that there was a fall Creed 2020 tour. Was there truth to that, or is that just people on the internet talking?
No, yeah, that's probably just rumors.
Yeah.
It's there's always people talking. We always get calls from people that are interested in putting a show together, but it's tough to get a band that hasn't toured in 10 years to just do a show. We would have we'd have to put it all together. We'd have to put weeks into preparing the production and weeks into doing the rehearsals, and it's a big production. You can't just do one show.
Sure. And would Brian be a part of it?
Absolutely.
Okay. Because that was up and down through that, I guess, 7 years, whatever, which is so crazy to look back that Creed only existed that amount of time.
Yeah, when we did the reunion back in 2013, I think it was, Brian was a part of that. So, yeah, if we did it again, he'd definitely be a part of it.
Gotcha, man. Well, sorry I had to ask about that. I just feel like it's sort of my job,
Okay.
But no, man, just stoked for the show tomorrow night, and congrats on the new record, and just looking forward to seeing you tomorrow night at the Criterion.
Absolutely, man. See you tomorrow.
Indeed. Well, I appreciate the time, and thanks a lot.
Awesome. Thank you, man.